What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of We as People. And in today's episode, I want to talk about how being understood doesn't always mean that it's justified. All right, story time. Once upon a time, it was a prince, and he had his own castle and everything. And the prince was somewhat of a jerk. One day, a lady comes to the door and it's raining outside and everything. And she asks the prince, can she stay inside of his castle overnight because of the storm? The prince, because of his snottish attitude, he says, no, you cannot stay here. You look bummy, you look dirty, you ugly, and just stay away from me. Prince slammed the door on her face, and then he kept walking away. As he got midway away from the door, he heard the door knocking, someone knocking on the door again. The prince goes back because he already know that it's the old lady at the door, and he's angry. He goes to open the door, and instead of it being the lady who's asking for shelter, it's a different lady. And this lady is radiant. She's beautiful. Um, she's young, and he likes what he's looking at. And so he readily opens the door for her and invites her in to get out of the rain and the storm. What the prince didn't know is that the old lady and the younger lady were one and the same. The lady was also, she was like a mage, an enchantress. So she said, because of your snottish attitude and because you were being a jerk, I have decided to put a curse on you. So the lady cursed him, turned him into a hideous monster. Not only did she do that to him, but she did it to everyone that was in the castle as well. So all the servants, all of the helpmates, everybody who was there was also infected. Fast forward, as time go past, um, a man gets lost in the forest, and so he finds the castle, and he goes into the castle to get some shelter because he was lost. Uh, the prince, in his beastly form, he decides to lock the man up because he was trespassing. The man has a daughter. The daughter goes to look for him to try to find out what happened to her dad. She ends up finding him inside the castle, and the monster prince, he discovers them, and they make a deal with him. He say, "Hey, I'll stay in my father's place while letting him go back to the village so that he can get better and everything because he's been sick." So the prince let him go. The prince let him go back and everything. And so in the meantime, the daughter is still stuck there. Throughout the time of her being there, her and the prince end up getting to know each other, and they become a little bit more acquainted. Now, this is where it gets interesting though. In order for the curse to be lifted, the prince has to fall in love with someone, and somebody has to fall in love with the prince. So during this time period, the prince and the girl, they begin to like each other, even as ugly as he is. Um, again, they fall in love with each other, and they do it just in time before the curse becomes permanent. Because if he didn't do it in a certain time frame, the prince and all of his subjects, all the helpmates, and everyone in there were going to be stuck in their forms forever. If you don't know what story I'm talking about by now, I'm talking about Beauty and the Beast. And I might have butchered some of the parts of the story, but I'm going to tie it into the title of the video about being understood doesn't always mean that you're right, or it doesn't mean that you're justified for the things that you do. In the case of the Beauty and the Beast, because the Beast was feeling so much fear and anxiety and stress from knowing like somebody has to fall in love with me and I gotta fall in love with them within a certain time period. And if I don't do it, then I'm gonna be stuck like this forever. That that caused so much on him that it projected out to everyone else that was around him. We understand, or everybody understood, like, man, I would be frantic and afraid too if I could be stuck like this forever if I don't do what the rules imply, which is fall in love with somebody and somebody fall in love with me. But that doesn't give you the right to be a jerk like he was. That doesn't give you the right to just lock people up just because you felt like it. That doesn't give you the right to just go around throwing temper tantrums all day. We get it. We understand. It's very understood that hey, that was a frightening situation to be placed in, but is it really called for? Is it necessary for you to be such a jerk or a butthole to other people? Or let's bring it back down to real life scenarios. Um, a person doesn't like school, and so they decide to drop out. And again, I'm not coming down on nobody or anything like that, but we understand or it's understood that hey, school's not the best place or where you feel the most comfortable at. It can be a little challenging sometimes. Waking up early is a pain, and et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't make it right or justify that the fact that you are choosing to deny yourself education because there's help. There's help, there's a resource that you can get to help you get through your school time. Another scenario is let's just say that you almost drowned before in your life. And so because you almost drowned and lost your life, you made it up in your mind that you won't ever take your kids to a beach or a water park because you're afraid of the same thing happening to them. And because of your fears, because of the things and the traumas that you went through, your children will never get a chance to experience going to the beach or going for a swim or playing at a water park. Or I want to get into something that's even more, a little bit more deeper. Not saying that the other two things that I mentioned before wasn't deep, but let's just say you had your heart broken before. And because you had your heart broken before and you decide that I don't want to ever experience that type of pain again, you purposely become emotionally unavailable to the people that you run into. So people that maybe you become interested in or somebody shows interest in you. But because of your past experience, you say, I'm not gonna get myself attached to this person because of the things that I went through. Again, all of these different scenarios are scenarios that a person understands. It's understood. It's reasons behind the reason. It's reasons behind the way that you feel, and we get it. Other people get it. Your close loved ones get it. But you got to ask yourself, does that make the decision that I'm making right? Even more than just the scenarios I gave, think about other scenarios that comes to mind. Think about people that you know that are going through this type of scenarios. Being understood does not always make things right. We have to find ways to overcome the fears and anxieties and the traumas that we went through so that we don't keep on projecting it out to others. I hope that y'all like this conversation, and I hope that it resonates. I hope that it sparks a change within you, or it brings you can bring this conversation up to someone you know that may need it. But all in all, thank y'all for listening, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode.